everyone, and welcome to a new vlog. Today I think it's time to talk about some landscape photography during winter. I know winter is here, and probably for many of you winter has already arrived. So I think this is the perfect moment when I can give you a few tips. So let's start with tip number one, that I think it's the most basic tip that I can share with you, and that is to make sure you understand how the camera calculates the exposure in winter conditions, and understand how to adjust your exposure, because and this is mostly valid for DSLR users, because when you are a mirrorless user, you look through the visor, or you look on the back of your camera, and you actually see what is happening. So you don't realize that you're compensating for how the camera exposes. So this is mostly for DSLR users, because when you're looking through the visor, you're not seeing the actual exposure. So the camera will tend always to underexpose really bright scenes. So when you are photographing in winter and you have lots of snow, of course that the bright light that the snow reflects will influence the camera, and the camera will think, okay, this is a scene that is very bright, so I need to take it down a little bit. So if you're setting the exposure to be dead in the center, then you should overexpose with 1 stop, 1.5 stops, and there are some rare occasions when you will need almost 2 stops. I don't think that you will have to go over 2 stops. So let's move on to tip number 2, and that is to use the snow. And I know this can sound a little strange, but the snow is in a way acting just like fog is acting in the forest. So the snow helps you get rid of the clutter, get rid of the of all those small little details that you don't want in your photos. So you can use snow as negative space. So it's just a matter of finding an interesting subject and then giving it enough space around it, and making sure that space is filled with the white of the snow. And these shots usually are called minimalist shots. Maybe when winter is going to be in its full right, I'm going to do an entire vlog out there in the field showing you this technique, because photographing in a minimalist way, I think during winter, it's the best moment when you could do this type of photography. Tip number 3, more than ever, sunrise and sunsets play a really big part. Now, it's not difficult to go and photograph for the sunrise. In winter conditions, the sun is rising at 7:30 or even later than that. And also the sun sets really early, so you have enough time to go back home. It's not like in summer when you get those really long days. Now, the reason for which sunrise and sunsets are especially spectacular in winter conditions, it's because the snow reflects a lot of the color that is in the atmosphere, and it's going to be different colors. For example, for the sunrise, you're going to get colors more towards bright pink, yellows, kind of like oranges, and then when you move towards the sunset, you'll get more magentas and purples and shades of blue, especially after the sun is setting. So you get those really beautiful colors in the snow, and that is the reason to really go and to enjoy those really spectacular moments. Tip number 4, a lot of winter photos have a blue cast, especially if you are in the forest or near mountains, or near when you're photographing waterfalls, you get a really strong blue cast, and that is because the snow is white and reflects the atmosphere and everything that's around it. And to balance that, you need to set your white balance to cloudy, and if that is not enough, you will set it to shade. Shade is usually used really early in the morning and after the sun is setting. Sometimes it's not good to remove all the blue feeling or the blue tint from the photo, because sometimes you are, for example, during blue hour and you want that feeling of blue in your photo. So it's just a matter of doing a conscious decision. Tip number 5 is taking advantage at maximum of the first days of winter and really cold conditions, because those are the moments when you can capture autumn and winter together. It's a battle between these two seasons, and the contrast that you're getting, because you still see the reddish and brown reddish leaves, and then you have the white of the snow. Those moments create some really beautiful moments when the contrast is really high. And also you have entire areas where the upper part of the photo, because it's higher, has the snow, and the lower part of the photo, because it represents the hills that are lower than that, you still get the colors of autumn. So these two seasons put together, I think, look really, really great. Tip number 6, continue to use your tripod. And I saw this a lot during my workshops. People are asking, why should I use the tripod since it's this much light outside, it's really bright? Well, yes, there are situations when you don't need to use a tripod, and this is valid in summer, in winter, in any situation or any season. So you have to remember, even though the snow is really bright, all the other elements remain the same. Inside the forest, the trees are dark, and you will need to still use your tripod. So it's just a matter of, again, making a conscious decision. Take a photo by hand and take a look at the histogram. If you need to increase the ISO to get a sharp image and to get the details there, then maybe you will need to use a tripod to get all the tones in the shot. And tip number 7 is to try and find the color inside the landscape that is completely immersed in snow. And this works better in situations when the buildings in that area look really different and they have really bright colors. For example, in Norway, I was in Lofoten Island, and over there all those Norwegian small houses are red or yellow. So just because of that, they create some really, really powerful anchor points, and you get this entire landscape, and then you have that spot of color over there. That it's unusual, because in my country, in Romania and all over Europe, when you see small cottages or small houses in the mountains, they're not brightly colored. They're gray or the color of the wood, and they don't pop in the snow that better. These were my 7 tips for you to help you with your winter photography. You can share in comments below which tip you found to be the most useful, or you can also share your own tips so the entire community can learn from it. You can share this entire video on Facebook or Twitter or whatever social media platform you're using, just to help others with these tips. And until next time, keep on photographing, because it's the only way to get better. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.